What is up, you guys? It is Coaster Maniac USA here, and welcome to another episode of the Kings Island Show. And I know that the last video I did was about Kings Island, but this one is going to be too, because just recently I took my first trip to Kings Island, and that's going to be our first topic in this Kings Island show, is my first trip review of the season. So we went Saturday, May 9th, and this was bound to be an interesting day. And what I mean by that is basically it was going to be hot. And we all knew that it's about to be summer and stuff like that. So we knew that it was going to be a hot day. But we also knew that there was probably going to be a little bit of overcast because there was some hit or miss rain that was coming into the area. Well, let's just go ahead and say that it was a miss and it was a hot day. Sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cold a little bit, but so basically it was a hit or miss day, and it did miss. But let's go ahead and talk about when we got there. We got there at about 9:35, and we were able to go to Banshee right away, which is the ride that I love to ride first. And I know that my girlfriend Brittany does too, and that's why we went there first. But we ended up riding Banshee first. We rode it in the front seat for the first ride of the new season. I was super pumped up about it. Banshee was so fun, and we ended up riding it again, but this time in the very back. And that's the first time that I've rode Banshee in the back seat. So that was an interesting experience for me. After that, we got over to Diamondback, I believe. And Diamondback was as fun as always and whatnot. Then we rode the Beast. The Beast actually seemed like it got a little bit more rougher. And what I mean by that is over the years, you've heard me, Coaster Dude, or anybody else that well, it's only been us on the show, but you've heard me and him talk about it a lot. The Beast's roughness has really numbed down over the years. And this year it seems like that it's not that. This year it seems like it's grown up to be back to how it was rough-wise, and that was a really fun ride. Then we hit up Vortex, and we also rode right after that the new Shake, Rattle, and Roll, which I will be getting to here in a little bit. And most of the stuff that I talk about in this video will probably be kind of a spin-off of the last video, but I want to talk about all the new things that I saw there and what I think about them. But after that, we hit up the racers, I do believe. No, we hit up the new Starbucks, and this was really good. I'll talk about that, like I said, later as well. We hit up Skyline, ate some Skyline, and then we went to the racers, rode the racers once, and I think that was pretty much it out of the rides that we rode. But we rode all of the big rides pretty much, excluding some of the other well-known rides, but we didn't get to those. But I was excited about it being our first trip. It was pretty hot out, so we left around 3 o'clock, I do believe. So that was the kind of the intro that I wanted to talk about, my trip review. It was a really good trip. Things that I noticed differently is there's a couple different, like, big-time, I don't want to say big-time employees, but main Kings Island employees like Don Helvig and the president of Kings Island, walking around. But also there are more people walking around this year that look more professional, that are higher up in the Kings Island working chain. So we did notice more of them. We also noticed that Kings Island got the park a lot more cleaner this year. You don't find any trash on the ground, and I do really like this. And every time you walk by a trash can, it doesn't smell super bad like how you've had in the past. So I'm super excited about that, super happy that they changed that a little bit up and whatnot. Also, the final thing that we did notice on this trip was Kings Island now has guest Wi-Fi, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't have it during Halloween Haunt, and I think that this is a new thing for this year. But we were standing in line at Starbucks, and Brittany got on her phone, and she's like, I wonder if Kings Island's got Wi-Fi, and I knew that they've never had Wi-Fi before, and bam, just right on it. So I'm super happy about that I don't have to use my data anymore at Kings Island, and I can just use their Wi-Fi, their guest Wi-Fi. So I'd definitely be careful with what you do on the guest Wi-Fi due to the fact that it is open up to anybody, and you guys know hackers these days will hack pretty much anything. So let's go ahead and head into the new things that I noticed and that I got to take a look at a little bit closer this year. I'm going to try to find some pictures, so each time I talk about the new thing that I'm talking about, hopefully I can put in a picture. I didn't get to get much pictures on this trip, and I didn't get any video on this trip, so I am sorry about that. but I will talk more about that here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive right into the new things. The first thing I saw were the 2 new rides. The 2 new rides look pretty nice, and like where they put them, it's kind of where the kite eating tree is, and Surf Dog. They kind of jammed it into that little spacing right there, but they literally built the rides side by side to each other. They could almost put the rides in the one same fence area, but they didn't. But the one that I particularly think that actually could be fun for people of any age is the I forget what they're called, like the Flyers or something like that. That actually looks kind of fun. I might actually ride it myself, not gonna lie, just to see how it is. But I definitely will not ride Space Buggies, but that's also a good addition to the Planet Snoopy area. And also, since Planet Snoopy area has won the Golden Ticket Award so many times, Kings Island put the billboard now in Planet Snoopy instead of outside of the park, trying to brag a little bit, but I can understand why they've won it so many times in a row, and for best kiddie area in the park. And I'm glad to hear that that's at Kings Island. So let's go ahead and talk about something that I did not know was going to be this big of an upgrade. The Sweet Spot on International Street, which is the candy store on International Street. It used to just be called International Street Candy Store, I do believe, but now it has an official name, the Sweet Spot. And this freaking place on the inside is huge. It looks more spaced out than the other one did. It's not as crammed or anything, but it's actually got more stuff in it. So they did more spacing to it, and it's got a lot more in it. It's got its own jelly bean section, and the reason why I'm picking this out is I will mention it at the end of this video, but it's got its own jelly bean section, its own like stuff that you can put in your own bag section, nerds section, Wonka candy section. So definitely this candy shop is one of the bigger improvements of this year, and like I said, I was surprised when I walked into it and saw it. Definitely on my Kings Island highlights video with the pictures in the video, I will definitely be adding that one in there for you guys so you guys can see how much wider and how much bigger it did get in there. But I will tell you what, I do love the new Sweet Spot area at Kings Island, and that is definitely where I will probably be picking up most of my candy this year. Next up is the new funnel cake stand, and I didn't know that this was going to be that big of a deal. It's the new funnel cake stand on International Street, and they did do a lot of improvements. You now wait in line inside of a building, and you basically watch them make their funnel cakes right in front of you, and you also get to add your own toppings. Now, this is new this year, so we'll see how that goes, but they do have a lot of new toppings to offer. I wasn't able to look inside to see all the new offerings that they have for you, but I know that it's probably going to be pretty good, and I can't wait to maybe even get my hands on a funnel cake. I've not had a funnel cake in forever, but that's cool that they did that. It's a nice new building by itself, and I'm glad that they did that instead of it's just like out in the open. Next up is the Coke Marketplace. Now, this used to be just a little tent inside of the Coney Mall area, but now it is its own building. They built it into its own building, and it's very nice. I don't think that you actually get to walk inside of the building. I think you just walk underneath like the front part of the building, and you tell them what they want, and they bring it to you. But still, this is better than the little tent that they had, and I do like it. It does take up a little bit more space in the park. It does look like that they kind of crammed it in there, but it still looks good as well. So I think that's good for Kings Island that they did that. I wish they would bring back the Mister, the Coca-Cola Mister, but they're not going to do that, and I can understand why. And I'm kind of glad that they put it in its own building, though. And another thing that we did notice on this trip was the new interactive maps. And I've talked about this time and time again, how much this would probably change the impact at Kings Island. Well, I did think that they were good, but I did find some flaws with them as well earlier on in the day. Basically, they were good. I got to touch one myself. It gives you directions right to the ride where you want to go, right to the food place you want to go, and they're nice. They're actually really good touchscreens, but I did not know that you do not get to pick if you want to see the wait time for which ride or not. You actually have to wait until it comes back up, and it does say that it updates it every minute, but I do doubt that it's every minute due to the fact that we walked right by the racers, and the line was outside of even the racers' sign or the queues or anything like that. And it said that it had no wait. So this is going to be a problem that Kings Island is going to have to fix, I think, in the future. And I'm definitely going to be looking forward to them doing that. So hopefully that they do get this fixed. I'm curious to see how they're going to fix it and update it. And but overall, the interactive maps were good. People were clicking on them because there was a lot of people from out of town on my trip, and they were using it a lot. So I think that one's a plus for Kings Island, but they do need to update the system a little bit more. And I think that they need to have its own little section for wait times that you can click on to check out the wait times. One of the other things that I noticed that was new this year that I did not talk about in the last video was a brand new Kings Island Freestyle building. Yes. Not Kings Island Freestyle, sorry. Coca-Cola Freestyle building. And this is back by the train station where the old Dippin' Dots used to be. This is now a I almost did it again. A Coca-Cola Freestyle machine where you actually walk in, you pay for the refill, and then you go get a cup, fill it up, and drink it. So I think this is good. They're using that building. I can't really remember if that Dippin' Dots was even open back there last year or if it was even anything last year. So I think that this is good for Kings Island. I think that they see that people need something to drink every now and then, and they don't want to wait in line for the big refills. So just go and get yourself a Freestyle Coke. Why not? And so I actually like this idea. I don't really have much to talk about it. It's just a Freestyle Coke, and I wanted to throw that in there real quick because I noticed that was a change that I've not yet talked about. So let's go into two of the new bigger things of the year. One of them is the new Starbucks, and I did get a chance to go inside of it. Long lines, but hey, it was worth it. It was pretty good, not going to lie. But the new Starbucks is pretty big. It's a lot bigger than the other one, and you can fit more people inside of it. Sadly, they do not have a lot of tables inside of it, so they did put a lot outside of it next to the fountain. But it's nice in there. You just get your coffee and stuff, but I wish they'd have more workers in there or something like that to get your coffee done faster because they were, I don't want to say that they were slow at it. They weren't slow, but there was a lot of people in there, and I feel like that if they would have made it a little bit bigger inside, maybe take a little bit from the Emporium or whatever else is beside it, a little bit more. They did move the 80s store that used to be there across the street or across the pond to the other side of International Street. But like I said, if they would have made that a little bit bigger, that would have been perfect size. Put some more workers in there and basically do what Starbucks does best and make coffee and get money, basically. But like I said, it's not that bad in there. The food, they've got food in there that you can buy. It's just like a normal Starbucks. So if you're a fan of Starbucks, you'll like the Starbucks as well at Kings Island. And the final new thing that I want to talk about at the park is Shake, Rattle, and Roll. And if you guys remember, towards the end of last year, they did take out Shake, Rattle, and Roll. And that was kind of sad a little bit. I love Shake, Rattle, and Roll. I love to see people ride it every year, and I actually did get to ride it this year. But the new improvements on it are very nice. The new paint scheme is very nice. If you guys know that jukebox burger joint that's right across the way from it, they actually kind of took the paint scheme from that and put it on the Shake, Rattle, and Roll. So it looks a little bit retro with the white and blue paint and a little bit of gold. But they did do that, and they did put new LED lights on it. Also, they did the sidewalk around it. They redid that as well because they had to take out the ride. So I do think that this is nice what they did. New sign, new color scheme, and everything like that. And it's basically just the brand new Shake, Rattle, and Roll. And it's the same ride that we all love and know, but with a different paint scheme and stuff like that. All right, guys, and I do want to talk about one more thing that's not on this list. And I mentioned the jelly beans in an earlier part of this video. I bought jelly beans there, and they are called the Bean Boozled jelly beans. And if you guys don't know what these are nasty, tasty jelly beans, like baby wipes, skunk spray, and basically things like that. Well, I'm going to be doing a challenge here in a few videos later. I'm going to try to set it up, and I hope that you guys do enjoy it. So let me know in the comments below if that's something that you guys would like to see. The Bean Boozled challenge right here on Coaster Maniac USA account. If you guys want to see me take the Bean Boozled challenge for the first time, and this one will be different, and I'll explain in the actual video why it'll be different. But if you guys want to see me take the first Bean Boozled challenge, go check out my vlog account, the R Hammond, well, not the R Hammond, but R Hammond Vlogs, and you guys will laugh. Me and Brittany did it together, and it was nasty, not gonna lie, but I think that it'll be a fun idea for a video here in the future. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Kings Island Show. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, click the like button down below, subscribe to see new videos, and I will see you guys in my next one.